Can't do
Hey,
that.
good evening, everybody. Welcome to Crypto for Starters YouTube channel. Tonight we have Chad on with Kickz token. It's a new token that's coming out probably in the next month or two, and we'll see some great things from them. So, welcome, Chad.
Hey, what's going on? Or sooner, probably month and a half.
Yep.
Lots of stuff to do.
Yeah, you're always keeping busy. I know for sure.
You don't realize how much. I guess we call them developers in crypto, or I call myself, the COO, Chief Operating Officer. You don't realize how much work it is until you actually start a token. And I'm just getting started. So, I guess I have an enormous amount of respect now for the work that developers do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, ever since I started working with Para a little bit, it kind of gave me an inside scoop of what they all put up with, what they all do, and all that stuff. So it's definitely a lot of work. I don't think anybody understands what it's like to actually run a crypto and develop one and do all that stuff. So I guess let's just start out with, you want to give everybody your background, where you come from in crypto and what you've been doing the last few years in it. And
sure. Yeah. So Chad, developer, or owner. I call myself Chief Operating Officer of Kickz. I'm probably not going to be good with AMAs, so I'm learning all of that now. But so first time I ever bought or sold a crypto was in 2017. I knew about crypto from the onset. My friends kind of dragged me. They were mining back in college and stuff. And post college, I took college really late. I'm a veteran, Navy veteran, and got out and didn't get right into college. So in 2009 and 10, they're hooking in a dorm room and they're using Ohio State's internet and they're mining this stuff called Bitcoin, whatever. It's air.
Yep.
So fast forward to 2017 and I went down the rabbit hole with Ethereum. It was a new token. I remember in 2016, we'll rewind. I watched my friends trade Ethereum, lose $1 something. Believe it or not. Yeah. Up to 12 something. I'm and they all thought it was just going to disappear. Because Ethereum was relatively new. It started in 2015 and Bitcoin was established. I mean, it was Mt. Gox, Bitcoin.com. It was really at that point, Ethereum was really hard. I mean, there was Coinbase. Coinbase is 2012, Crypto.com 2014, but stuff was relatively unknown. It was it was, I think, the Wild West now. It's it was air. It was considered air. Bankers, JP Morgan thought it was air. Jamie Dimon from everybody thought it was air. So still kind of a joke, but it's okay. And I got back out of it. And then I dabbled back and forth trading it. And then 2020 and COVID hit. And I have a business. Well, I don't do it anymore. I've retired from it, but it made you wake up and realize you better have different revenue streams.
Yep.
And it was my friends were doing well. It crashed in 2020 and they loaded up. So I think I was Polygon, Harmony, VeChain, several of them back then. There was they were almost nothing. Cardano was 15, 16 cents when I bought it for the first time. And it was all Coinbase. I had Robinhood, Coinbase, Crypto.com, all centralized exchanges. Realized how quick Robinhood was a joke. I think it's everybody's one of the, if you got into crypto within the last 2 or 3 years, I had a Robinhood and realized Coinbase is 20,000 times better.
Yep. Yeah, Robinhood's kind of that beginner platform.
It's there's Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Savings, Ethereum Classic, Ethereum, Doge. If they've added anything else in the last year.
Yep. It's a good place to go and get your feet wet, but
I mean, honestly, right. And what I thought was day trading. I was line chart with a line chart. I was just guessing. I was trading completely in the dark on Robinhood. And it glitched out a couple of times on the Doge run up in Ethereum Classic when it went to 170 or something. In 2021, I finally deleted the app. I kept it for quite a while. I struggled through it and I knew it was kind of a joke. But so I didn't really until SHIB, I got SHIB on Crypto.com. So I wasn't huge wallet fan. All my friends, you need to store stuff off of a centralized exchange. And it's worked for me so far. And I'm doing pretty good. And I've been able to quit my job and not with COVID, not start it back. And SHIB swap came out and I wanted to make some extra money. So we're going to figure out this and go down the rabbit hole,
Mm-hmm.
move it off with a wallet, and got into wallets and farmed. Actually was able to figure out how to like provide liquidity on 3 pairs and sold the bone way before it tanked. So it was like
Nice.
I hit pretty hard on that. Yeah. Like nobody held, like I was the only one that, like, everyone's like, hold your bone. So I sold my bone, got out, found another token and another token and a bunch of like low market caps, and just kind of fell in love with low market caps.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole time for 2 years now, I've resold shoes too. Like the first time I ever resold a pair of shoes was 11 years ago. And there were a pair that I bought 8 years before that and just had forgot about. Mom, hey, I got these Jordans. Okay. Wonder if they're worth anything. And I tripled what I paid for them. I'm like, this is interesting. In 2020, you had to find different revenue streams, and that was one of them. And
Yep.
it was mostly marketplace, and then some of the resale shops opened back up, and there's a ton of money in shoes. Like there's a ton, and it's a lot of fun. I've collected for 30 some years off and on, like never, I guess, for profit, just for fun. And saw, if like there's StockX, some called StockX, and that is so similar. If you go to StockX and understand how to read it, there's market data, sentiment, market sentiment, and there's layer trading, or you call it stack trading. It's traditional trading, like you have all the asks and all the sold. So it's like, wow, this is pretty close to derivative trading or contract trading, which is something else I do. And so there's something seriously here. So for almost 2 years, I've struggled with a business idea that just every time I'd model it out, it would fail. It's because smart contracts weren't there. I come up with the idea about 8 months ago to do it with a crypto. So, okay, this will work with a crypto. I can enter this 36-year-old culture over. If you do the research, there's trillions of dollars in the resale industry.
Mm-hmm.
So it dwarfs crypto still. So okay, how can I do this? And last year was like August, you started seeing like there was something, I can't tell you the crypto, but somebody came out with Ethereum rewards. So, okay,
Yep.
there's something there. That's a little better, because the problem with something transactional or a transactional token or anything you're going to use as a payment form, it has to function. Like if I want to, you can't be selling the token. You're going to have constant selling pressure to provide the overhead. These shoes aren't cheap, and they're not, and they're not cheap to even get to resell. So it's catastrophic mathematically. And I said, okay, there was a possibility here. And okay, I need it to move a lot. So there was just nothing. Smart contracts have taxes or no taxes. And it's buy, sell, and transfer. And being a transactional token or something that would be interactive in a culture or sneaker conventions or a resale shop, or you name it, an online resale store, it has to move. It's going to, like, just like money, think how much currency moves. So if you've got a tax on transfers, as a business person, stuff's going to move. So you're going to lose. It's not fair to ask a sneaker convention to take like Kickz for the whole convention, be the transactional currency. And we trade it 10, 15 times, and you've lost almost half of your, especially with some of the like 10% taxes and stuff you see. So I came up with an idea and started working when I started seeing what Para did a few months ago, and they separated their taxes. I was like, okay, all the pieces of the puzzles fit, because all Ethereum reflections and redistribution was possible. We just hadn't seen the transfer tax separated. So when I see that, I jumped on it. So for 2 months, I've modeled out an idea, and here we are.
Yep.
I started a token.
Pretty much this token kind of started around your love of shoes, and kind of developed from there. And one of the greatest things about your token, in my opinion, is going to be the ETH reflections, because you're going to get reflections. Not only are you getting reflections, but you're going to get an ETH, right? So it's technically just passive income. So
Correct.
not a ton of tokens do that.
No, only a few. I mean,
So,
I bet it'll be everyday. It'll be an everyday thing. It's just smart money.
yep.
But like, so you create a token, you've got to make it. Like, I'm an investor, and I have a lot on Crypto.com staked. And there's other things like an Exodus wallet you can stake. And there's several staking platforms that are very lucrative. And any investment person you watch, any wise person that's made a ton of money in crypto, they'll tell you passive income's key.
Yep.
Like in a bear market, like
now,
I'm making money right now. It isn't pretty, but
no, sure.
all my everything in my staking pools are great. But I mean, sure, it's down, but it makes it a little easier to stomach days that when stuff drops to support levels you don't want to see. So passive income was key. I wasn't going to create anything without passive income. So my taxes are 5%. And that's for reasons it's just a lot of reasons. Exchanges, big exchanges, it's easier. It's much easier. 5% or less or no taxes, and you can get on any exchange in the world. So a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm not getting 5% Ethereum reflections. Like some of I saw there's one given 4%.
That's crazy.
But they're also charging 14% tax.
Right.
So you do the math, you're getting it like round trip. It far outweighs that money you're getting hit in that 10 or 12% far outweighs the reduction. So I have 5% taxes. One's Ethereum. I was not going to do it unless I could have Ethereum reflections.
Yep.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
buy my token, it sits in your wallet. And guess what pops up? You can have 0 Ethereum after you're done buying my token, and you'll slowly build. It'll be small and incremental on how much you own, but it's free Ethereum you don't have to sell your reflections to make a living. Sure, you're not going to make a living off 1% of the total take, which is if you have 1% of max wallet and 1% of the 1%, it's not a lot on a low volume day, but
on a big volume day,
you're
getting tons of reflections.
Right. And that's where I wanted to build a contract that is everything in my contract. I asked exchanges. Like, I don't know why. I mean, they are very willing to give you answers of what they look for. Or listing requirements are very I found listing requirements for 20 exchanges and several top 10s, and they're right on their website. Yeah. Just put, I want to list a token and go down the rabbit hole. And they'll show you exactly the process, all of them. And it's scary that a lot of them want the reason you see a lot of renounced contracts typically is you have to have everything hard coded. A lot of them, you've got like 6 that literally was listing fee and liquidity. It's like, are you a token? Are you in a live token? Are you not a rug pull? Okay, you will onboard you for 15K. They just want your money. And it's the same 6 you hear all the time. Yep. So you have to hard code or renounce your contract. So everything in my contract's hard coded. There is nothing can be changed. So my 5% tax won't be 12% next week. It's all hard coded. So it's 1% Ethereum reflections, 1% to liquidity to boost liquidity, 1% to charity because I mean, this isn't a charity token, but I don't know if you've given. Like, I love giving. Giving is so much fun.
Yep.
And it helps people. I mean, so you're having an absolute blast to change lives. So, will I get a 501c3? Probably not.
Yep.
I don't know. That's the rabbit hole we haven't way down. I'll probably just give it away. And if I get too much to give away, there's a lot of really good charity projects. I'm not like Para does good charity like the Convoy Hope, and you got charity. You got so many really good, legitimate projects that are going to change lives. So I'll give away what I can. My business partner is just me and one another person. He'll give away what he can. And whatever we can, we'll just give away to other people to give away. So 1% charity, I wanted that to be put in, and we were both adamant about that. And It's kind of a 1% buyback, but that's kind of like the whole that we can explain. It's 1% Kickz for the Kickz shoe store, and it's sort of a really cool way to do a buyback. And 1%, it's a business expense account. It's typically called a marketing development wallet, and in a lot of occasions it becomes a slush fund. But so like everything I have is like I'm treating this like a business, and I've ran businesses for I've worked like maybe a year my whole life for somebody. So like when you do business and you're successful, you have to like you have spreadsheets naturally. So with crypto, you've sort of got to show all that stuff. So the wallet, every wallet, tax wallet will be right on the website with the PDF. And it'll show even like when I sell, the transaction hash will be right in there. So you'll know what I paid. Like I can't lie. I put in a spreadsheet. I paid $200 in gas. And I paid $37. I mean, so it's like it's full transparency because I guess it's sad we have to be that way, but it's
well, and that's key in crypto. I mean, there's already questions as there is, you know.
Well, when you go off centralized exchanges, it is. When you
right.
Go down the rabbit hole of Twitter and YouTube and low market caps and
well,
you just play like I played in Coinbase and crypto. If it makes it there, and you can take a 30% pump on the listing on all these new exchanges. So I mean, there's money to be made.
The two things I love about the ETH reflections also is it's doing two things. It's giving your holders a benefit to holding the token, and it's also protecting your chart because when people get reflections, they get a high amount and they want to sell those reflections.
True.
Income, it hurts the chart, right? So, keep in mind, everybody too, is when you're collecting ETH instead of tokens, you don't have to worry about selling the tokens.
No, and you also correct. And with Ethereum redistribution, all the taxes are in Ethereum.
Yeah.
So there's no way. I feel so bad for developers, and it's just is what it is. And they have to. I have a lot of friends with a lot of them now. It's kind of cool, and it's like they're the most transparent. Like I don't want to like rock other projects, but KOA Combat, they're just so transparent. You know what I mean? They're right there telling you like we have to sell responsibly.
Yeah.
Get our money for exchanges, and they're just such a transparent group. I love them to death. And there's several good players in the industry. I'm finding out, and they care, and they're doing what they can do, and it's mad respect for them. And so it's not as much as hey, somebody's doing something wrong. It's more of I don't want to have to go through that. So I'm just gonna make everything Ethereum. Ethereum's got $293 billion market cap with the sell-off. We won't talk about that. It's just 370 billion. I mean, I'm saying million like it's 2017. But anyway, that right there. And then I started seeing a lot of staking for these low market caps. And it wasn't possible before unless you had some manual system that you did on your website, which for trust reasons, big exchanges are hacked. Hackers would tear my website apart and have your token. So Brew Labs, when I started writing my contract, I knew you're not going to start a token. If you're going to start a token, contracts everything. Yep. So there's a guy in the industry we know, Moonshot. Everyone knows Justin.
Everybody knows Justin. Yep.
You know Justin. You know that dude. I'm tearing out. I'm smart in crypto, and he knows a lot more than I do.
He's probably one of the most experienced and knowledgeable contract guys out there.
He's been trading Bitcoin since 2009, 10. Yeah. He can tell you since he knows the story about the founders, the crypto punks, and the Jacksonville, how they like when the banks were bailed out in 2008 and stuff. Why it was created. I mean, he was one of the few people that knew that, and like he taught me some things. So.
Is he the one that introduced you to Brew Labs then and kind of pointed
to so it's like, okay, when you know he's the best, I reached out to him because I knew he had wrote a couple of contracts for other teams. And I was like, well, A, can you do this? Or B, do you know who the best is? And when somebody like that tells you, I recommend Brew Labs.
Yep.
That's just a no-brainer. So I set up a meeting. I reach out on Twitter. I didn't realize Telegram's encrypted. And they do everything through Telegram. So it's safe. It's really a safe meeting environment. And I didn't realize I have a lot more respect for Telegram. Yeah, so it's very safe. So they set up a separate room, and it was like a high level business meal, like deal. Like I felt like I was selling $1 million home or trying to win $1 million bid. It was like high level stuff. These guys were experts. And I was like, okay, well, and they were cocky. Not cocky, they're confident. It was so confident, it came off as like cocky. It's like, well, no offense, but we are the best. Because I said, like Justin said, you're one of the best. They're like, well, no offense, but we are the best.
Yeah.
And you start looking at some of their contracts they have designed, and it's like, you'll never hear anybody say they had a problem with that contract.
Right.
And I guess guys that come to them typically, they're just like, I'll do whatever. And I had a whole list, like 2-page list here. Like, yeah, I'm old. It's notebook paper, and I have a dry erase board, but over here. But anyway, so I'm old. I'm 47. So like I've done business before, and I had it's just amazing amount of respect that I've been diving at low market caps, and this is a BSC token that is a coder. Of course, they were recommended, but I didn't expect the level. The guy's like, yeah, I was a senior, did this and that, a high level. This guy's just like the not secretary. I don't know what he does. He's just like the kind of like, he writes up the scope. He wrote the scope for, and like my receipts, and like it's a straight professional. And they didn't expect us to hash out. Like we went past our meeting. But like, it's like usually 15 minutes because I did an extensive amount of research on what are these, like all these exchange, like there's a trustworthy tokens that get like an 89, 90 certic. And you're like, how does this happen? How does this happen? And you start looking through their audits, and it's these tiny little centralized errors. They're minor, they're small, medium errors, but there are a bunch of them and they accumulate. And I'm just here to tell you, you're going to play in a big, that's going to have to improve. You have to be in the 90s or mid 90s to play like with FTX and some of them I've looked into. Like, so, okay, they're like, you sure you don't want to change your taxes? No, I want it hard coded. And then they're like, and it's kind of going to be in a pain until we get the market cap up, but max buy is 0.5%. Which is 25 million tokens. My supply is 5 billion, starting price 0.0001. So 25 billion is it's 0.5% max buy, max sell 0.3%. So, I mean, you can accumulate a max wallet, but if you're going to sell off, you're not going to get that one bulk sell.
Nope.
You know how it works. You're going to level down. Uniswap's going to level you down, and you're going to end up, that last sell is going to be about half of what your first sell was.
Yeah.
So that was designed. Like they came up with that part, and they're like, well, sure, you don't want to like where you can put a call in and change it. And I'm like, well, what does that give you? That gives you a centralized error, doesn't it? And they're like, yeah, you're right. How do you know that? And I'm like, trust me. That's why these guys are getting 89s and 90s. So I just like, it was way over an hour we went. And we finally came to the point, they're like, you just want everything hard coded. Right? I'm like, yeah, everything. I won't be able to touch nothing. Why? If you're confident in your business model, you're confident in what you've created.
Yep. You don't have to.
It works. Shiv hasn't changed. I mean, just everything else is hard coded. Why? Because they're confident. People are confident in their business model. So it's sort of like a renounced contract. I can't change anything. And then, like, I guess I'm not saying, I don't even know what token they were talking about, but they said tokens like to be able to change the max buy and sell so their friends can dump and this and that. It's like, wow, no wonder these audits come in at like 89s or 90s, and you never see them break into FTX. I'm not going to say Binance. Binance is, I'm not down on Binance, but let's just say Binance is not one of my favorite exchanges. Like, if my holders start like screaming Binance, they need to do some research. All I got to say is there's like 500 million trading pairs. There's a reason they're number one. Yep. They're multi-chain. There's 1 billion trading pairs. Per trading pair, the volume's not that high. There's exchanges that per trading pair in the top 200 that do more volume. And there's one of them that's in 190, barely in the top 200. If you take the amount of trading pairs on that platform, you divide it out, there's an exchange with 23 trading pairs in the top 200 that does $24 million a day volume. And guess where it's at? Right where everybody was at in the crypto expo. Dubai. Yep. You think anybody reached out to that little exchange? Why? No, because it's in the top 200. We don't want it. It's not a top tier exchange. So you're going to see different things. This exchange for this contract's built for exchanges, and you're going to see different approaches. I'm going to be hitting exchanges that it can. First of all, the listing fees are almost nothing on some of these. They just want your tokens. They want the pair. They want the pair. They want the liquidity, and they want you to be legitimate. You can't be 12%, 50-0. There's stuff that they look for. Then they want you to be presentable. And then it's like it's a Mirror X is one of them. And that's out of Dubai. And it's easy exchange to get on. It's really an easy exchange to get on. I know another token that's getting on it. And they've got all kinds of liquidity problems. And they're going to probably get on this exchange.
As far as reflections go, is it better for exchanges to have the ETH reflections rather than tokens? Is that
okay? So what exchanges? What I ran into is they really don't like burns. It seems to be burns, and anything over 7% is the tolerance.
Okay.
But 5% really brings you under. So believe it or not, it doesn't. There's going to be exchanges that do not accept, even with Ethereum reflections. I'm not going to chase some exchanges.
Yeah.
They won't accept our tokenomics. There's LBank don't accept anybody. I mean, listen, how many cryptos have you bought that's listed on LBank and they sacrifice their redistribution of 5% to LBank and they do like 7,000 a day volume?
Yeah.
So you sacrificed your reflections, your holders' reflections for 7,000. Those four, the four you hear, I guess I'll say them, like the Hotbit, Bitmart, LBank, XT.
Yeah.
Those one Bitmart seems to be decent. Like, especially a primary listing. If you pay for a primary listing, which is close to like, it's almost $20K for the primary listing.
Mm-hmm.
You get a listing and it's like $7,000. But these four exchanges they typically do nothing. They're a pump. It's a pump. It's like a chill pump, they call it, like a Twitter pump.
Yep.
But if you look at the actual volume that's created, like Bitmart seems to do pretty decent for tokens. Hotbit, it just seems to be.
Hotbit is definitely one of the hardest ones to work with. I found out.
I'm not messing with it. You can keep that 200. It does nothing for volume for new tokens. And if you look at it, it's because you've got to understand, like this, look at it from an investor's perspective.
Yeah.
I have a Hotbit. I'm on XT. That's my primary exchange because I'm a big centralized exchange guy. It's big why I'm focused on exchange listings. So you're going to see you see like 50 different tokens a week on these exchanges. Yeah. And like half of them are the people that can provide a listing fee and tokens. And it's not really hard to do that. It's really not. It surprises me that more don't. And it's because their contracts are Swiss cheese. So you get a solid contract, and we haven't talked about Brew Labs, and I'm down this rabbit hole with them, and they're like, we have ERC20 staking coming out, and a couple tokens are doing it.
Yeah,
and it's a pretty legitimate platform they got. So I paid for, and we bought 2 pools. They're building 2 staking pools, a 30-day lock and a 60-day lock, and each one of them's going to have like over 100% APR. Nice. And this is where it gets really cool. Like, you're talking about passive income.
Yep.
This is where it gets fun. So typically you would just get tokens, and your reflections are tokens as well. So it's compounded in a way, but not. It's just kind of just added in. So with Ethereum reflections, those aren't locked. So you're getting your Ethereum reflections, your time locked, your 30-day time locked, your tokens. You can harvest your Ethereum. That can build up over that 60-day period, and you need a couple $100. You can harvest that Ethereum. It's not locked. Or you have an option when you go to their staking pools, you have an option to set it up to harvest. So what it's going to do is it's going to build up Ethereum, buy Kickz, put it back up in your bag. I guess we call it bags. You're holding your account, and it's on top of you're getting the over 100% APR with staking, you're also compounding you're compounding that interest rate with the Ethereum. So you can either harvest or compounded.
So, and while you're doing that, you're also still getting the ETH reflections, right, at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those could be harvested or compounded.
Right. So now you're getting two passive incomes all in one.
Kind of, yeah. And it becomes a juggernaut. If you just keep throwing that Ethereum back into tokens, those tokens are creating more Ethereum.
Right.
So as your staking grows, your Ethereum, you're getting more of the pot, so your Ethereum reflections grow.
Right. So how quickly is the staking going to be available?
At launch.
At launch.
I've self-funded this whole project, and let's just say they're not cheap.
Yeah.
I didn't, when I started this, think I was going to spend so much, but when you do something, it's worth spending the money. Like the contract it's worth spending it. Brew Labs for the 2 polls, and they have to staking polls are a contract that has to be launched on the Ethereum network. So it's just like they're launching your contract for your token, they have to launch your staking polls, each one of them. And each one of them, you can look it on their website. It's 4 BNB per staking pool. And I caught them when it was like 450 and 40 a BNB. Nice. I really wish I could have paid him today. I paid him I paid him in a bad time. This would have been, I've been getting a lick. So I got I think I paid him everything, unfortunately, when stuff was pumping. So it is what it is. But,
I mean, most tokens you get into, they don't have staking available right away. It's something that they develop. So the fact that it's going to be available day one, buy your tokens at launch and stake them right away pretty much is
correct.
I mean,
you're going to make money day one. It's that third party, paying for that third party.
Yeah.
I would never be able to, there's just no way. You'd have to have a server, a safe server, and it'd just be a lot of computer engineering. And you're talking to build something that would handle staking pool.
Yeah.
You probably spend about 10, 15 grand to do it right. And then to have somebody come in, and I don't know what staking pools are building. They might be Solidity. That might be getting into like the Plutus code a little bit, but I'm sure it's not easy. So you got to pay a programmer to.
Yep.
So that's why with these third-party people, like you see, gosh, I'm in love with these tokens, but like they're good projects. KOA has the staking through Brew Labs, and there's a couple other ones they're doing. List. You think you have an AMF list coming up? They're a pretty solid project. They're going to offer. They're going to pass. They're a passive income juggernaut. Yeah. I mean, you provide that income, and why not spend the money? So I was going to do a pre-sale too. Like I thought people wanted pre-sales. Like I was like, I don't want to do this because if you can self-fund a project, it's the best way to do it. So like total just up to launch will be close to $100,000. And that's because I'm providing 50,000. It's going to be 100,000 LP start. I'm providing the 50K Ethereum in my token. So there's no wait. And that will give a solid trading floor. So sure, we'll have a pump. But when it goes to dump, it won't break that trading floor. And like I was adamant, like if I couldn't fund this, like I've always thought like that's just how you start a project. You have a couple 100,000 and you start a project. You have the liquidity. I thought a smart contract was a lot more. I know this is kind of funny. You're gonna laugh, but I thought they're like $100 grand, right? Like that's like a foundation. That's like the pillar of your token. Like I would charge a lot more if I was a coder. Like you're getting they're charging. It's. I feel like I got a deal on it. The contract it's a really good deal. Yeah. So like up to launch with AMAs and stuff. Like thank God you're being easy on me. Like you're a good friend, but there's other people. They're not cheap. They're not cheap, man. When you become famous, you're not going to be cheap.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to be too expensive for anybody.
I'm telling you, man. There's people reach out. You'll find out. Like if you're going to start token, you're going to find out that there are people want your money, and they're not even they're like 500 followers on Twitter, and they want 5 ETH to promote you.
Right. It's crazy.
So, dude, I've been in business for 20 years. You're not going to get me. Like, I'm that part. And if I ever come off anybody, like ever come off like, it's just business.
Yeah.
It's not, it's business. You know what I mean? It's not like sometimes I come off confident. But if you ever watch Richard Hart with Pulse Chain or Hex, that dude, he reeks confidence. It's like, whoa, that guy's almost borderline cocky. He's almost borderline cocky. I said, I can't be Richard Hart. I want to learn to tone it down a little bit. So
bottom line, you know, I can tell people for sure that, you know, with you doing this token, you're going to do it right, because you might as well not do it at all. That's kind of what
I'm not going to waste my own money. And then that's like the problem. Like, I'm not wasting your money, or I'm not wasting 100,000 pre-sale money. I'm really taking a chance here. So people that know me, like when I build stuff, like I go overboard. That's kind of like why I went like overboard with the contract. Okay, so I could have just did a 1% buyback, and it'd been boring, and it wouldn't have attached to, I don't know how to do this on camera. It wouldn't have attached to 30-some-year-old culture. So I'm like, we gotta have fun. I'm a sneakerhead. So we're gonna do something fun with this 1%. Because like if you do a 1% buyback, you've got to do it as a COO or developer. It needs to be done in like several buys. Because if it doesn't, you get this huge green candle and you get a huge red candle. It's market manipulation at its finest. So buybacks, God bless them, because they're good. But buybacks in that sense in that direct word, is market manipulation. And regulation, as much as we in DeFi we don't like to hear, I welcome. I can't wait. It's gonna eradicate like 12,000 of those. 12,000 of them will disappear. Thank God. I'll still be here. Kickz will still be here. We'll have underlying business sheets. I'll be able to pull out the books. They can audit me. They'll see a physical business. They'll see it's transactional. It's a currency. I mean, it has spendability. It isn't your traditional utilities I have. I mean, I guess passive income's utility. I consider like the graph, which is a scaling solution for the Ethereum blockchain. That's, to me, is like utility. So like, I'm not going to say like, I'm going to do NFTs, but that's probably not a utility. So like, it's just going to be a little bit different. Like it's coming, regulation's coming. You've got to be ready for it. This is a business. Like I said, it might be done a little differently than you see, but the 1%. So the 1% gets really interesting. This is a whole store. I got the website on my website. It's a V1 website that I created, so don't laugh. I'm not spending money to make money. I'll have a V2 created, and the one I want is going to be about $3,500. It's not off Fiverr. I'm not hiring some $200 web designer off Fiverr. I want to have a custom built website, local web designer that I can interact with. I know they're not hard coding something into my website. So 1%, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to go down. It's called a Kickz. It's a sort of just a buyback. We're calling it a Kickz expense account. It's going to go down and purchase shoes like these right here and other really popular Jordans. And they're going to list on the website for a significant discount. Like a significant discount. And so you say, like, I send $10,000 down in Kickz pool money for shoes. 70% will be for just shoes on. There's that StockX was mentioned. So these are already shoes that have dropped. Holy Grails, very popular ones that people can't typically afford. These are Holy Grails. These are all about $1,000 and up shoes. So like $1,000 shoe for Kickz will be $700. And you're going to ask me, okay, so you're losing $3,000. Incorrect. So there's also a very lucrative aspect of shoe resale. And unfortunately, it's kind of nasty. It's priced out people, but you are not like a retro drop, like any one of these drops. They don't even make it to a store. They're not a boutique shop. They're a sneaker app. It's called Nike Sneaker App Drop. And those, you can just one person log in. You're not going to get one of these shoes. The guys that have shopping bots, we're going to talk about bots in crypto. So these are good bots for us, for the sneakerheads. So I'm having a computer built. and I'm going to connect 100 to 200 Shopee bots, and I'm going to take down. I'm sick of StockX and these other people getting these shoes. So we're going to have fun. That 1% is we're going to make sneakerheads' dreams. So what we're going to do with this is it's a percentage. Like I'm going to sell this X amount for 30% loss. And I know I'm going to lose 30%, but I can tell you right now, the drops that I'm going after, I'm not going after mids. I'm not going after retail drops. I'm going after drops. They're going to net me the next day or that day they sell out. You do your research. They go for 50% to 1x. Some of them go 5x more, and they stay that way. Like the Fragment X Travis Scott's, they dropped for $240. Even before they dropped, they were going for almost $1,000. Like you weren't getting those for less than $1,000. Yeah. It's just crazy. To buy size 11 now in my size is $4,500. It was not even a week, and they were almost $2,000. That's just like, so you get a few of those. Honestly, I'm gonna send $10,000 down, and this is funny. Like my buybacks are called. My buybacks are called getting Kickz off the corner. I'm going to take Kickz off the corner. Get Kickz off the street. Get your Kickz off the street. So it's going to send $10,000 down there, and it just depends how we do in drops. The very bare minimum, 10,000 will come back in Kickz token, and that's like your traditional buying. You buy your circulating supply, and you put it in your uncirculating supply. That's what a buyback does. It shortens circulating supply, and it's just an ROA machine. So you're doing this transaction and creating a lot of fun. I mean, I could just do buybacks. It'd be a lot simpler. But I'm a sneakerhead, so I'm going to create a fun environment, and it gets really interesting. Buybacks typically are, what are they going to do? Like, I'm a developer. I know how you go and you open up the wallet, you go and you buy some Kickz, and you throw it back in the supply wallet. Woo! It's boring. It's no fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do nothing. Like, what is it doing for holder count? It's not gaining you a new holder.
Nope.
It's not doing any advertisement. You can, if you advertise your buybacks, it's market manipulation. Trust me. You know, that's why they're not advertised. So it does, like, I'm going to be on these $700 pair of $1,000 shoes, or $600, depending on whatever that I got them for on Kickz. And you're going to ask me, where did you get those shoes, man? Those are fresh. Or, you know, I'm going to be at a sneaker convention. I'm going to say, hey, man, you need to check out. I got these. Like, you're selling them for $1,100. I can get them right now on Kickz for $700 or $800.
Yeah.
So right there is free advertisement. You potentially gain a holder or two just off of your buyback. So it's a genius way to market and advertise like non-traditionally. And like, you're going to see a lot, like, I know we're on YouTube, so I'm not going to bash you, my friend. You're going to see a little bit more non-traditional, like, advertising. Like, if you direct buy, you know what direct marketing is? Like, direct marketing, like Google, they all do it. Like, if you search something on Google and you go to your social media account, you're going to have, it's freakish. Exactly what you were searching is going to start showing up as advertisements.
Yep.
So it's just a GoDaddy. You see my website. I'm not going to lie to you and like say some like Premiere. It's just a premium hosted GoDaddy website I created. Just with that cheap website, I have all this stuff, this direct marketing I can send out. So if somebody, I have it plugged in to like ready to go. So if somebody searches crypto and shoes or cryptos and Jordans, I put primarily. Yeah. I'm going to be hammering their social media with ads, and my ads are going to be simple. I don't know if you saw the Super Bowl commercial, but Coinbase, everybody hated that ad.
QR code?
It's just a QR code floating on the screen. How many people they said they had, like, it was a success.
Yeah.
They said it was like a ridiculous amount. Everything's a QR code.
Does the cherry tie into the shoes at all? As far as what you're going to be giving the charity
for? Interesting. What I can give away and afford to give away, because I mean, let's face it, I'm not going to be stealing money. And only 1%. I know you don't. It doesn't sound like a lot, but on a $10 million day, it's $100,000.
Yeah.
And I tell you right now, those tokens, almost everyone I'm in is trading 10 million a week. So 100,000 a week's a lot to give away if you're not stealing it. Yeah. So, I was poor. I grew up poor. I crammed my feet into shoes. And like, like you're like school counselors know who's poor. They knew because they interacted with me. So, and they also know like it's sad because I'm almost 50. And if you see me like hoop and see me like play and stuff, you're like, wow, this guy, I was wasting talent because I couldn't afford there's like pay to play fees.
Yeah.
So what better to go to like a school that's depressed financially? How many kids could, if you get them into athletics, do wonderful things, even if they don't become a professional athlete? It's the mentoring, it's the structured environments you're getting these kids into. And a lot of these kids, they could become a doctor, it could be a surgeon, maybe somebody saves your life someday, but their mom and dad didn't have the $100 or the 200 for the shoes and the shirt and the shin pads. Soccer's expensive sport, lacrosse or something.
Yeah.
Like, you think football is, wait, let your kid play hockey. I have a friend's kid that plays hockey. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Baseball. Yeah. Baseball is ridiculous. Those bats are like, whatever, you got baseball behind you. Baseball bats are stupid. So what better thing to do is to be able to provide a fund that these kids, they can pay to play fee, and they can pay for the kids' shoes. Sure, I'm not going to buy them a $200 flashiest pair. But you're not going to buy them junk because, it also is okay. I feel better. I have a new pair of shoes on my feet. It does wonders. Like, I used to buy like this white shoe polish. I put it on my shoes, like, because we could afford it. I had to wear them shoes like 2-3 years, and they had to look fly, because if you didn't, and I didn't even go to a big school, it's like amazing. It does a lot it does a lot. So you put new shoes on people's feet. I'm really going to target children, like kids in schools that can't, counselors always knows, like family knows that family that's struggling, like your guidance counselors can do wonders. Like they can reach, I have a lot of friends in education and one's a guidance counselor. So it's just like, that would be a great thing to do, is like help kids that just can't afford shoes. And then like homeless shelters, you would not understand. Like there are adults that would really like to work. They just don't have steel toe boots.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the simplest things that we take for granted. I mean, I got $1,000 shoes here. Like the stuff we take for granted, it's just ridiculous. Like it might be the difference between somebody changing their life. Someone would buy a ton of shoes.
Right.
I'm going to help people with shoes. Why not start a shoe token and give shoes back? And whatever's extra, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's like Julie said, though. It's, 300 million kids don't have access to shoes. A simple thing as a pair of shoes.
There you go. There it is.
Have access to it.
That's it. No, that's a real. I did my research, and that's worldwide. It's scary. Like
that's crazy.
Like adults walking around in Haiti, like on glass and stuff.
Yeah.
Haiti makes me like, oh, we won't talk about it. It's sad how close that is to America, and it looks like a war zone. And you got adults like going to work every day with like, there's nothing left on the soles of the shoes, and like they're taping like duct tape around these, like, it's sad. So like we'll start in America, because I mean, but Jiminy Christmas, when you're making money, let's help some of these like Haiti and like Philippines. So imagine how many shoes were washed away. Like they just had like some catastrophes. And but like there's just like Julie, said, the children, it's scary. It's a sad thing. I'm telling you, I crammed until I couldn't, my feet probably didn't grow as big as they should have, because you're made fun of. It's sad. It's a sad world.
It's for something as simple as your pair of
not having a pair of shoes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So whatever I can't give away, there are tokens like Medi. I'll tell you what, Medi is a small new startup that them people started like medical hospitals, and they're not lying. Medi, one of the developers, is from where I'm from. So Brandon and I won't give Brandon money if I have any extra in a heartbeat, and leave from Para, and they don't 501c yet. I'm not sure if Para's applied for it, but see, like all the ones I'm going to give money to are either applying for the 501c or they're going down that charity path. I'm just not. It's something I want to do because I was poor. And I just think if you can make a lot of money and you don't steal it, there's plenty to give away.
Yeah.
And like,
Now,
I had a lot of people. I'm sorry.
when you give away to charity, will it be on the expense tracker, I guess, too, as well?
Oh yeah, everything. Yeah, like right now, there's a spot on my website. Sorry, I haven't talked this much in a while. So my dog doesn't talk back. So it's just me and my dog. So like right now on my website, you can go to expense tracker. Like you go to a click down menu, you'll see it. They're just blank PDFs, but I have Google Docs set up for every one of those, and admin privileges for my other developer. He's more of the accountant, numbers, figure it out. I'm more of the like in front of you, shoe side. So like, yeah, you can see it like expense tracker. Bam. So you'll see it right there. Those will have PDFs attached. I have them all made. And I guess I could download blank ones until we launch. And say,
no, I mean,
Ethereum transaction hash 0.
Just the fact that they're there. I mean, that's, like Julie said earlier, it's about as important as being doxxed as devs anymore, because when you are buying a token that's going to charity, how many tokens actually tell you where it's going or when they give it away? So you don't even know if they're actually doing what they're telling you they're doing.
Right. What are they giving it to? Like this will be itemized. Every penny will be, I mean, I don't see any reason. I've ran businesses. So in businesses, overhead, there's cost, you've got to figure every penny. And I've always been like a weird, like, I guess grown up poor. I figure every dollar, and I expect it to be done in any business, and expect it to be done in any token. And like the 5%, I got a lot of people like, why? There's just not enough. You really need to make your marketing, and I don't call it a marketing development. It's a business expense account. It'll have a business expense sheet. So like 1% is a lot. What the heck are you doing? Unless you're getting on like 2 exchanges a week. Like if I generate even $1 million, it's not that much if you're doing things right in a week volume. That is an exchange listing. It's like, honestly, like if I'm going to choose a pump, a Twitter shill, or like a YouTube AMA, like if all I have in the bank is enough to list on an exchange that accepts our tokenomics, it's a no-brainer. An exchange makes everybody happy, and it's not temporary, and it's not a temporary pump. It's volume for the duration of that token.
Yeah.
An exchange is permanent. It's permanent volume for your token. That's why, like, I just think it's, gosh, I love a lot of these guys. It's just we get caught up as developers or COO, and we're going to follow the same track because we feel like that's what needs to be followed. And really, exchange focused is going to make everybody happy. So that 1% is a lot. There's plenty of money there.
Exchanges bring legitimacy in people's eyes as well, because they check into a token, they do their own due diligence, and so it kind of makes people feel good that they're on an exchange. Not to say that it's ironclad, but not only that, but it's like you said, it gives them volume for forever.
Yeah, it's volume's everything. I mean, this model, volume's reflections for the holder. Volume shoes for us to have fun with. The more volume we can create, the more shoes we can bless people with at a discounted price. The more charity money we've got to give away.
Yep.
The more expense, I was going to keep the business expense account, we can call it, like, I guess, the marketing development. That's going to go, like I said, it'll be heavy, 80% exchanges to start. And once you've gotten yourself, like, projections are projections, but like I have a pretty lofty, I have a 17-page business model here, and it doesn't look like, because I've got a rock solid contract, so I won't get no's. I'll just have to have the money and the tokens. And there was no pre-sale. I'm adding what the required amount's usually 10% of your market cap to Uniswap. That creates a solid trading floor. So nothing's out. Nothing's out. I have 79% of my supply left after my staking pools and everything. Like, what's the yield? Because yield isn't ready. Yield farming. I'm doing 2 staking and 1 yield farming. And they require 4.5% of my supply. Uniswap will have 10. The company total breakdown is only 7%. So there's 79%. 79% sitting there for exchanges. Like, I don't need to burn it because I want it for exchanges. I mean, I don't
Right.
know, like, where do you get liquidity if you burn all your supply? Like, I guess I don't know, like, some of that stuff. Like, it just don't make sense. Like, if there's nothing there to give, you just get fractional tokens. Like, I guess that's what you would do. But like, Brew Labs is very adamant that 10% goes to Uniswap. And that's how you're, and I would know that. Like, I didn't know that, but I understood that it makes sense for your trading floor. So it's all there. And all you need is tokens. And I have plenty of them. And there's nobody else has them. So
Yep.
I need tokens and listing fees. So I'm just like, I have a lofty goal. I know, like, I don't want to say projections, but I have 52 exchange and 52 week goal.
Okay. That was going to be my next question was it's going to be on Uniswap, but how quickly do you want to do exchanges? I know you're an exchange guy, so be pretty quick then.
Real interesting. Okay. So blessed. Like, I'm really going to be, this sounds crazy, but my goal is to launch on one exchange in Uniswap.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be Uniswap, and then that day you'll drop the exchange listing, because it wouldn't be right for Uniswappers to. I was going to have it at the drop. So like, you've got to kind of go live at the mercy of the exchange. They're going to tell you when they're going to go live, and you're not going to talk them out of that. That's when they're going to go live. So if bare minimum would be the day after, and then we'll see what happens. Like, I have the 100,000 before, but like, the spend money to make money, if I spend it now, I make it down the road.
Right.
So I'm Lord willing, I'm going to drop close to another 100 on exchanges. So post launch. So it was originally, until this bloody murder, I don't know what you would call it, this correction. I was going to say, like, I was kind of thinking
second bear market. That's what I call it.
It's not a bear market technically. It's a bear correction, or a bear correction in a bull market.
Right.
That's a whole nother conversation. Like, we've been on a bull run since July 2020. We've just had bear corrections within a bull market. So we're still in a bull market. Surprisingly, I know this sounds crazy, but we're still, if you look at the chart from 2020, went out and down, zoom out, we're still in a bull run. So I was wanting to launch it into the bull run. I don't want to, you don't want to launch a token into the blood. So being that I don't have investors' money, I don't have anybody's money, and I'm only spending my own. And if I just don't launch it right away, I'm just spending more and more on AMAs and marketing, and it's just my money. So like, end of the month was projection, and the way it looks with that correction, it didn't hold support. That's nerdy stuff. But when Bitcoin didn't hold, we broke into the 30s, and we're coming closer to another key support line. We're thinking possibly 2 weeks into May. So we get the one exchange right out the gate in May, possibly 2. And then the goal would be 4 exchanges in June, 4 in July, 4 in August, 4 in September, and it would round out the last 2 in October. It would start the 20 in 6 months, and then that's going to create the necessary volume to get on the next 32. Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, there's going to come to a point, I'm not going to know what to do with that money.
Yeah.
We're going to be on like every exchange. It's going to just be a money-making juggernaut, because I'm not stealing it. Like, I drive, like, you'll see, I have money. Like, I have money. I can show you my wallets. They're not small. And I have big positions in a lot of tokens. And I walk around town, like, I drive the same. My car is 14 years old now. And I bought it new. It's certified used. It was a 2-year trade-in on a lease. A Mazda 3 Touring S. And it runs like a top. So, like, I'm not chasing a Lambo.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to do, there's a lady in town her company's in the billions. I'm just trying to be like the biggest company, I guess, in my town. So, like, if we have a 10 billion market cap, that would mean more to me. Yeah. And then if I had $1 million to spend on a car, I'd probably buy 10 economical cars for people. I'd drive one and, like, bless people. I don't know. Just car for me is A to B.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see maybe.
I see contracts going to be audited by Brew Labs and TechRate. Now, I have to ask this question because I'm sure everybody's going to ask this question.
Of course. Certic,
is Certic going to audit the contract?
Well, surprisingly, like, okay, so I always thought it was expensive because I was always told, like, I guess maybe the swaps are more expensive
Yeah.
because they're more extensive audits and the wallets and stuff people are creating. I'm sure they're not, but Certic's like, I think the one, the really in-depth detail one was like 13,000. It's not that much. I can get a basic Certic audit for like 3,500 bucks.
Yeah.
So sure, absolutely. We'll do. Brew Labs should be finished with all what they're doing by the 14th, or let's hope sooner.
Yeah.
And it's really not a rush because at that point, Moonshot's so busy. He's got so much going on with Tarp over there, and they're doing something with the NFTs, and he's just really a busy guy. And I understand. God, he's coding this stuff too, and he's a developer. So, like, I don't know what his workload's freaking insane.
And he's going on and helping other projects.
But that's what I'm trying
So,
to get him to do here with me. He's going to look the contract over probably, or I'm going to coax him. Even if I got to pay him, I don't care. Because like having some of that knowledge, read it first, and then I'll send it to a line by line. TechRate has a free Chensey audit. Almost everybody gets. And then they've got one. It starts at 900 and it goes up to about 1,300. The 1,300s will dig into it in the depth of like Certic. But let's just face it. Like Certic's the like premier, and TechRate, if you look at, like, it's not rated very high as a review company. Yeah. So like it's like a 2 stars out of 5 or something. It's not a very reputable audit company. What it's going to provide me is the line by line detail.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to say, okay, this was wrong. And what the beautiful thing is nobody has tokens. Nothing. Yeah. It's simple. At that point, I send the contract back. I pay for it to be amended, or if it's their error, they amend it. And then we go from there. It might go through another audit. There's a couple other audit companies that I haven't written down that they're under 5,000 and they're ranked higher than TechRate, but not as high as Certic.
Well, if you can have Justin from Tarp go through it, that's almost just as good as anything else. I mean, he's gone through
Certic, right?
People say, "Oh, Moonshot did it from Tarp." Most people know in this space who he is, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, cool."
He knows what he's doing. He's going to find anything that's in that contract.
Yep.
That was done by. I'm not pro. Like, I've gotten better. Like, contracts aren't hard to read. When you first look at one, like on Etherscan, you're like, what the crap is this? But if you look at like enough of them, like the excluded wallets or the whitelisted wallets, everything is pretty much the taxes are always some, like, it's always right there. Yep. So when marketing, that's so funny.
Someone had to say it. Just
of course, Kruger, right? Kruger with marketing. So like, okay, yeah, I guess we're marketing now, right? Like we discussed, I think that was a joke, but that kind of got me off. What was he talking about? He does that. He does something about marketing. He's good. So anyway, this contract will be reviewed and audited. They audit their own contracts and they'll give you like an approval. And then like he's not going to give a stamp. He's going to look at the contract and then he'll go and get the actual stamp from TechRate, which I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I just don't hold a lot for TechRate. So there's a couple other ones I looked in I might get. And hey, if I can swing Certic and have it onboarding at least before we launch, or have a Certic audit before launch.
Or scheduled at least.
Exactly. I mean, like the biggest thing for me, and it's why I went through Brew Labs, I want to do this once.
Yeah.
I don't want to you
don't want to relaunch? Why not? It's so much fun.
It's like, it's hard. I've watched how like Pear is a great token, and they just, they had somebody they wrote a shoddy contract for them, and things happened, and then they had some crap with Uniswap, but it's hard to relaunch. It's a lot of work, and they pulled it off. Like, and I have confidence I could probably pull it off, but I just don't want to create that work for myself. There's a lot.
Why? There's no point.
I'm sure there's a lot involved in it. And I think you and I were talking one day, like some of the people from Paris still dealing with like the poor Hotbit stuff. And it's just so hard to see. And these are solid, amazing projects. And I know they're amazing people. And I can tell you the bad actors. There's a few of them. Yeah. I won't mention them, but like, cause you don't bash it. It's just not right. It's obvious if I can see it, other people can see it. So But you find out there's a lot of really solid projects, and
Yeah.
they may not be up right now. And you guys need to look at the market because there's some solid ones, like Para and KOA and List and Kishimoto, and they're all solid. I cannot say anything bad about there. And there's several other ones. That's just a start. But those are solid projects that very doxed, honest, very focused on they all have their own little niche. And I have my own little niche and I'm focused on it. And it's that 1%, like we haven't even gotten into the depth of what that can create. I've told you it creates a buttload of money as long as it's not being stolen and it's right there in the expense account. It's not going to get stolen. So there comes to a point where you can't sell it all online. It just comes to a point where in the roadmap, there's brick and mortar. And it's because at a certain point, if you do the math, I don't want to go into I can go to $10,000 can be like a lot of shoes. I mean, it's like 30 shoes, like 100,000 is 300 shoes. And it's not going to be hard to accumulate 100,000. And you got your larger resale shops are like 1,500, 2,000 to 6,000 shoes.
Yep.
So you can have that filled up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And everybody asks, I really think metaverse, and there's something called Overland VR that's it's augmented reality that's more business use case. If you look it up, overland.io is really cool. It's you purchase the land virtually over your business.
Yeah.
And it gives you all kinds of augmented reality. So if you have a physical location like our brick and mortar, you can do some really cool stuff with Overland VR, like augmented reality, glasses and stuff that are coming out.
Yeah.
That's all going to display. Say if I bought the area in my store, I can put digital stuff that you'd only see through augmented reality.
Right.
It's I can have my shoe dancing, like a cartoon character dancing out in front of my store. It's really cool. This is all tomorrow's technology. Why not do it today? Yep. Augmented reality, Overland VR, and stuff like that. Augmented reality will be in everyday use. You'll have there's contacts now they're working on that are augmented reality for augmented reality. They're already going down to contact lenses. Yep. They have glasses. I think Sony's coming out, but they're already working. The Department of Defense is already working on contacts.
It's a lot closer than everybody thinks.
Yeah, it's there.
It really
it's just we don't see it in the public sector, but the private sector and the Department of Defense has it. I promise you. So we'll see it in a few years. Yep. So augmented reality is something I'm big on, and I really like Blocktopia. We always hear Sandbox, Decentraland, but Metaverse Play for sure because it supports a Metaverse store. It's just. Metaverse is the future. There's a reason Zuckerberg. There's a reason JP Morgan's heading that way. Yep. I love it when you want to buy one with all your holdings from. If you keep your Kickz long enough, you can buy one. Hey, I'm not knocking anybody. Things are sexy.
Well,
I'd probably wreck it.
It's like you and I were talking earlier. When you come out with a token nowadays, it's everybody's doing kind of the same thing with games and with this and that and calling them utilities and anymore. Why, just like we talked about the other day with what can the token do for you, and there's a ton of things that this token can do for every holder and also other people. And that just, to me, it's an investment that is going to give you passive income and also charity. So, I mean, and plus the, possibilities are endless going into metaverse and, are you going to have a store in there, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, I mean it won't be somewhere you can just walk around and do nothing.
Right.
I think everybody wants to get in the metaverse, but what are you going to do when you get in there?
Right.
I mean, we can just build a hangout, where we all hang out. That's cool, I guess. But there's been concerts they've tried to hold in the metaverse. I've researched the metaverse too, and there's been concerts held in metaverses, and there's 100 people show up.
Yeah.
And it's a huge flop, and the promoter lost a ton of money promoting this VR concert, and it's just not there yet. So it's going to be a store. I mean, obviously, but everybody asks the same thing, NFTs. I'm going to do NFTs, but if I do them, it won't be I guess you could stake NFTs now, and there's a way to make passive income. I was going to originally just say no, because I'd be asking my holders to sell a token that gives you Ethereum,
right,
to stake it for an NFT that only gives you native token, because you're not going to get Ethereum reflections off staked NFT. If you do, they're charging like 12% tax to cover that. There's some way they're covering it.
yeah,
They're not just pulling Ethereum out of their pocket and giving it to you. Tokens, I can give them all day. There's nothing in it. I pull in my supply, I toss you some tokens for staking or your NFT. So by popular demand, we'll do NFTs. They'll be cheap. Then will be nothing to buy. And you'll be able to stake them and earn. I'll make it like way higher than the 100% APR. So if you're sacrificing your Kickz, you get, you buy them, then you stake, and you're going to make decent like 200% APR or something on your NFT.
yeah.
And then you can take those tokens, I guess, and stake them, or you get reflections from them once you've earned them. So
Yeah.
like having them Ethereum reflections, you stake that NFT, you're getting more Kickz tokens. That's going to give you more Ethereum. It's just like, there's an actual passive income there. So like I started working the business model out, and I'm like, hey, I'd probably buy one of them if it gave me 200%, 150% APR. So we'll do NFT staking through a third party. If hopefully Brew Labs can build me a pool. Let's do it, Brew Labs. Like if you see this,
I'm sure
I'll talk them into it. They have all kinds of other things they're trying to sell me. Like they have this treasury, this way to like, really cool way to say you have a treasury, like a token with a treasury. Like, yeah, they have some cool products.
Yeah,
but
yeah, so really good things about Brew Labs for sure from a lot of different people. So
I haven't seen anything like it in the space in a while. Yeah. They're very professional.
Yep. All right. Well, we're about an hour and 11 minutes, so we'll see if anybody
has get off here.
Yeah, anybody have any questions? Let me scroll through here. See, I think
has there anybody been like? Have I gotten like the tomato thrown at me? Is it not like when you're like in production?
No,
you're on the play, like you're like you did very bad. They throw tomatoes at you.
People have been liking
first one, so.
People liking all the passive income. That's for sure. I'll tell you that right now. It's gonna, as soon as word starts to get out, it's kind of a no brainer, So.
Well, I hope like I said, I pray that this is gonna make everybody a lot of money, because I'm gonna put the effort in. So
yeah, absolutely.
I just don't think if the effort's made, I don't think it can fail.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I don't see any questions, so we'll get off here. But we'll have you back on again after maybe a month or two after launch. We'll get you back on here and
or even closer to launch. I'll be broke in by then. I'll be broke in by like 20 AMAs by then. So.
Yeah, you're going to be busy the next few weeks. I can tell you that. But I could say for everybody that's been in here today, I appreciate you guys coming out, and I know I'm excited about this. We've already got our funds ready to go for launch day. So as soon as you figure out launch day, we'll get it out to everybody else, and
absolutely
we'll get you back on here and have another one. But until then, we appreciate you guys coming out, and we'll see you guys all later. Thanks, Chad.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Have a good one, buddy.